So yes, we have arranged this very first webinar to basically introduce you all to the biocoherence technology. We have spoken to most of you individually, but today we just want to basically do a full run through of what the technology is and how it can benefit both you and your patients. So as you know, it is a revolutionary technology that is designed to capture and analyze the body's electrical activity to provide deep insights into your health and well-being using this sensor here. And then once it has found any problems or issues, it then builds a custom meditation using spoken word and sound frequencies to basically go right to the root of the problem with a view to correcting it in real time. But today I want to really introduce you to Mederic, who is going to basically take us through a full run through of what the technology is and how it works in as simple terms as possible. So I'm going to hand it over to you.
You can also ask me some questions if you want.
Well,
okay, so hi to everybody. So I know most of you have already tried the beta version of the app. We are still in beta. We said we will be out of beta at the end of the month.
Yes.
So we are heading towards that.
Yeah.
So we are heading for a release in September. Everything is going well right now, and the latest additions that you still don't have in your own beta are the frequencies and the meditation texts. And as you can hear, we are live in the country yard, so we have countryside.
We actually have some ducks here who actually might have a few questions. But actually, before we start, can you just explain where this technology came from and also who you are?
Yeah, okay.
If you don't mind.
So this journey started maybe 15 years ago now.
Yeah.
Okay, it started 30 years ago. We wanted to meditate we were interested in Eastern philosophies and so on since we are maybe 18 with my wife. And so we made all sorts of meditation practices and so on, but it didn't go very far. Sure. But we were always very interested in this and reading people going out of body and Eastern philosophies and so on. And then life happened and we had 3 kids. And flash forward in 2010, something like that, we were introduced to binaural beats. Sure. By our medical doctor, in fact, when I said that we wanted to meditate and it was difficult to go into deep sessions and so on, and it was really mind-blowing. So we made a huge progress with it. I actually made some out-of-body experiences and so on. So it really enlarged my vision of the world.
Sure.
And in the meantime, we started playing with alternative medicine devices like Rayonix or devices like that, because our daughter Isis was intolerant to gluten and it cured her in 1 session, and we started digging into it because it was amazing. And I actually founded a company to distribute these devices in France. So we distributed several devices, and for something like 12 years now, we start really knowing this kind of devices from the inside. I am a scientist by training, and I am a sound engineer by training. I actually made a movie school in sound engineering.
Which is actually a very, very good school, right?
Yeah. It's one of the top schools in France, yes, and the most technical also. So it's more on the technical side. And so somewhere in 2017, I started toying with making a software to create custom meditations. Sure. And it was very complicated, so there were several attempts. But at the end, we released in 2022 first app, which was called 33, which was fixed pre-recorded meditations with dynamic sounds. So it was already live generated. Sure. And we wanted to find a way to to add some measurements and some biofeedback to it, because I wanted to create biofeedback-driven meditations. And that's why we created Biocoherence in the beginning, because it was the end goal is to be able to create a lot of custom meditations driven by some objective measurements, and also make our own device based on everything that we tried and we saw in current existing devices, and what they are good for and what they are not so good for, and so on.
So then, based on the scan, you'll then build a custom meditation that will actually go to the root of what the scan has found with a view to trying to correct
yes,
the problem.
I'd say the end product is the meditation or is frequencies,
Yes.
but the intermediate product is to get a lot of different biomarkers, and we compute now more than 1,400 different biomarkers, which comes from very, very various field of researchers that I compiled. So I had to take like a very broad view of it and start with the pulse, and then build several layers on it to. Sorry, English. Okay. Build several layers of analysis on it to use different analysis techniques based on meridians or based on organs or emotional interpretations, and frequencies. And we will also show you today the next update that we will get in a few days, which includes thousands and thousands of frequencies and thousands of therapy protocols and organ frequencies.
Okay.
And it allows to automatically create a frequency program or to manually create protocols program, which will be a function that will be reserved to pros. So the idea is that people can do a recording at home and can get some basic frequencies mixed with their meditations, or just the frequencies alone if you don't want to meditate. So you can also create just a frequency file.
Yeah. Okay.
But you can also choose to take an appointment with a pro and send the pro your recording through the app, and he will get your recording, and he will be able to create a custom protocol with a lot of specific frequencies that are meant specifically for this person. So it's also a way to encourage end users. And the app is very open because you can analyze the recordings that you did with your Apple Watch, exactly. or you can use our sensor, which gives more flexibility.
Okay.
But there are millions of people that have an Apple Watch, and we plan to open to other devices. But right now, it's a very good way to
real-time scanning of your health as you go through
the day. Exactly. And so you can do a recording on your Apple Watch and open it with the app, and then get in touch with a professional and pay for a session. And you can have the professional will set his price. So you can have a price for doing just protocols based on your recordings, or you can have a price for doing a 20-minute live session with Skype and then the protocols, etc., etc. So
and when you say professional, who? So you're talking about kinesiologists and acupuncturists and osteopaths
and naturopaths and medical doctors, and so there are. So this device is currently medically certified in Europe. It will be medically certified in the US next year. But we have other devices that are already medically certified in the US, like this one, which will be the Pro version, and which will allow to record with. In a more professional way, with patches that you can put on the skin or on the wrists. And you can also get temperature, blood pressure, and so on. So this will be the most professional version.
This works very, very well, though.
And this
very powerful.
It's already very powerful, and it's Bluetooth, so you can use it with the computer, with the phone, and so on. Okay. So it's really good.
So then, perhaps you can give us a run through of the technology. Perhaps we could even start with a scan, or just basically go straight into a report.
Yeah, we can go to a report.
And then while you share your screen, you can basically explain how the technology works and what it scans for and how the scans work.
Yeah.
If you don't mind.
Yeah. Okay. So this is the main screen when you have a recording. So I will share the screen, sorry, for people live.
And also, guys, please feel free to jump in with any questions that you might have as we go. We are going to have questions at the end of the presentation, but if you do have any questions that you'd like to ask based on a specific part, please feel free to ask.
Okay, so this is the main menu, and this is separated in 4 parts. So when you do a recording or when you open a file, the first thing you want to do is to balance. But maybe you want to understand what's happened first. So balance is first because it's the most straightforward way to understand what's happening. So priorities, resources, report, frequencies, and a meditation. Priorities is what you need to do. Resources is what you can use to do it. The PDF report is a complete report with everything inside, and you will see more information that you currently have in the next version.
Sure.
Frequencies is also new, and you will see it a bit later. And balance is a custom meditation and other tools to help you regain a healthy state. So this is the first part, balance. The second part is understand, which is every biomarker that you can find in your recording. So you have technical biomarkers, you have energy level, body level, mind level, and the progress, which is you can do several recordings one after another and see the progress of specific biomarkers evolving, for instance, before and after a session or before and after spiritual events like you will do tomorrow.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Which I will share with you at the end of this.
Yeah, and
had a great test over the weekend.
And you can also do a recording every day when you do a balance. So a meditation session is usually 21 days, and we encourage people to make a recording every day before the session. So the meditation of the day is entirely adapted to how you are today.
Sure.
Based on the initial findings and decisions. Yeah. So it will change every day. And you will also see it here in progress. The third section is tests. And you will see, for those of you who already use the device, you will see that there is a new frequency protocols section with 2,600 and more protocols, which is a lot. Yeah. And list and items is something that is very open because you can create your own lists and put pictures and everything you want and test them like a kinesiologist would do with a yes, no answer. Okay? And then you have the ability to save it on the cloud so that you can use it on different devices. So when you do a recording on your phone, for instance, and it's saved on the cloud, you can open it on your computer immediately. If you have the same login, you share the same files. Sure. And you can also share access to this analysis. So if you are a pro, you can share it with your customer. And if you are a customer, you can share it with your professional. Gotcha. And you can also choose a professional in the pro directory, which is not yet live, but which will be live. Soon, yeah. And that will allow you to share your data with a professional and send him your recording and find the relevant professional according to what you need. So maybe language, specialties, his state of mind and what he usually does and so on.
Okay. Yeah. So can you explain how this can get all of the information that is displayed on screen? It is just from my heartbeat?
Yes.
From the electricity that flows through my body?
Yeah, okay. So when you do a recording, you have a pulse, which looks like that. Yeah. And you can actually scroll into the recording and see how it looks. And you also see that some parts are red because the software automatically decided that it was out of the bounds, for instance. Okay. So it automatically cleans up the recording. Okay. So it only uses... and down you see 1 bit, which is also interesting because you can compare bit by bit how it happens. And you see this line here. Yeah. This is the line that you usually see on an ECG recording.
Yeah, exactly.
But there is a lot more information happening here, the little waves. And in these little waves, we will find a lot of information because when you say we do an ECG with such a sensor, you don't just do a recording of your heart, you do a recording of your whole body's electricity.
Sure.
And this is the secret, in fact. Yeah. Usually when you do a recording on the screen, you do an average and you just use the bump, the first bump.
Okay, yep.
So this is, there are points like PQ or RIST, which are computed in traditional ECG analysis. but that try to avoid as much as possible the rest of the information. And this is where we find actually information.
This is where you find the gold.
Yeah, and
Okay.
you can see it here in the frequencies.
Yes.
So if you go into the frequencies, you can see that we have information about very low frequencies, but also a lot of information in high frequencies.
Okay.
And then you have harmonies, which is a way to extract the meaningful frequencies from this recording.
Okay.
And from that basis, we will then compute a lot of biomarkers and analysis.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Okay, so then if you could go back to the main, back to the main report. So can you step us through the priorities and the resources?
Yes. Okay. So first thing is.
So the scan is complete.
Yeah.
This is the report.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm. So priorities are automatically computed when you do a scan, but you can change them. So for instance, in this scan, it found 2 elements that it found interesting to work on, but I can click on explore,
Yeah.
and then it will tell me all the elements that it found for different reasons. So maybe all these ones are moving together, so it's interesting to check them.
Yeah.
This one are very high energy, so it's interesting. This one has a lot of movement, so it's interesting.
Yeah.
But you can then also go to the scans and pick your own priorities, because you just have to click on the side of the flower
Yeah.
to add priorities like that, or you can just remove them by clicking. So this is something that you find in every page.
Yeah.
So you can add everything to priorities.
Gotcha. Okay.
What's interesting is that you now have some information here about every one of these elements.
Yes.
So you have basic information and you have the emotional links. And this will also be used by the meditation texts to help you balance this. So if you choose hormone testosterone as a priority, it will be part of your meditation, and it will be in a certain order according to the daily recordings.
Yeah. Sure. Combined with the frequencies.
Yes, exactly. Yes, you can also find frequencies here. So this is also new for those of you that already use the app. There is a new button here, frequencies.
Yeah.
And you can actually have the sound of testosterone. So this is the organ. And you can have some frequency protocols. So we have something like 2,000 and counting frequency protocols.
Yeah.
And it will automatically match some interesting frequency protocols that could help this particular biomarker balance.
Gotcha.
So, for instance,
I'm not sure if people can hear that sound.
I'm not sure they can hear in the live, but hopefully they can hear it.
Oh, you can? All right, cool.
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah. Ish.
Yeah. It's purposely low because in the meditation it's low, but
Yeah.
maybe I will make it higher when you want to preview it. So this is just a preview. You click on it, and you can hear what it means, and you can add it to your frequency program. And so this is reserved for pros, and so all of these programs could be added into a specific protocol. Okay.
Okay, cool.
So this is, I added testosterone and I added 3 programs on it. And so I will find it in my frequency protocol.
Okay.
So
Now,
this is the priority. So you have organs, meridians, TCM points, drives, which are emotions, receipts, which are TCM receipts,
okay.
chakras, momentum, and you can also add other elements if you want.
Okay.
So this is the pre-computed priorities. And you see my frequency program here is now 13 minutes.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Lane has asked the question, how do we create tests for products not already uploaded into the database?
Yeah.
Can you upload a photograph of the product, for example?
Okay, so we'll leave priorities and resources and we'll go to the lists.
Yeah.
So this is also a function for pros only.
Okay.
So you can just go into test lists and you can see all the system lists, which are here. For instance, take herbs. And this is one of the system lists, and it's based on Ayurvedic evaluation. So, for instance, peppermint is known to lower the vata, lower the pitta, and higher the kapha. And you can just click on it and edit here, add photos, add a description, and it will be pre-evaluated according to this and tested with the pictures, for instance, or the frequencies that are attached to this item.
Okay. Right.
So when you create a list, you can say in what category it is, if it's available for just for you or for this customer only or for everybody, and then you can just add test items and say, sorry, because this is okay. You can say, for instance, that this particular item is stimulating amino acids because it's a product. I don't know. You work with a supplement product company,
Sure.
and they say, okay, this product is good for arteries and for blood and for amino acids. So you just have to check it like that.
Yeah.
And you can also add some details for the blood. For instance, it's good for circulation. So this will stimulate it, and it would maybe calm the bladder or the eyes. I don't know. Okay, so this is all the evaluations that will be linked to this particular project. And so this particular project now has a lot of data points,
Yeah.
and it will be compared to your specific recording.
Gotcha. Okay. And actually, this could be of huge benefit to the supplement industry.
Yeah, exactly.
As well, to actually scan to see
Okay, so
what a person needs.
example of list that you can do is, of course, all supplements, all drugs, all products like that that have a direct action on the body.
Okay.
But you can do lists of, I don't know, Tibetan prayers.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, and the system will display and send the information of the different prayers and will evaluate how your unconscious body responds to it by measuring you while it displays the information. And so you get the information of it, you react in a way, and in a few heartbeats we can see if your body is like your energy is shrinking or your energy is expanding. Wow. And based to that, we can have an evaluation if it's good for you or not.
Oh, okay.
You can also do, for instance, geobiology with that, because for a list, when you have a list, you can add a picture. And when you add a picture, you can actually place the items on the picture on different parts of the picture. So you can take a picture of a house or a floor plan, and then you can create several items to test, and you place them on a plan, and then you run the test, and the people will get in connection with this information and say if it's good for them or not. So you can actually do work on plants, for instance.
Fantastic.
So that's a lot. It's a very open system, and it's a system that you can, as a pro, you can earn money with, because when you decide to make a list public, you can ask for a fee for people to use it.
For their list, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it's also accessible to every user that is not a subscriber to the app, so they can install the app, go to a list, pay just for one test, do the recording, and get the results. And you, as a pro, you get money for it. So,
fantastic. Okay, good. Okay, so if you can just go back to the main report there. So now, if you could take us through resources.
yes. Okay. So
we've done the priorities.
So priorities are the things that you have to work on. So again, if you go to any priority screen, you can add, for instance, the small intestine, and this has been just added to my priorities. Yes. So if I go back, I have now 13 priorities. Okay. Sure. Okay. Resource is a bit different. Resource is a pre-computed algorithm that is specific to our research, and it says in each biomarker groups what is the most potent things that you have right now that can give energy to the other ones. So for instance, for organs, right now it's my chest.
Sure.
In the vascular system, but I could also choose something else if it fits me to work with, I don't know, sympathetic nerves, sympathetic system. Okay, yes. Let's choose this one, and now it will be my resource. So this is also open.
Okay.
As a professional, I can choose to change it, because I don't know, sometimes people can say, okay, I'm not really relating to this evaluation, but this one really speaks to me. Okay, great, go for it, because at the end, it's your consciousness that will cure you.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Yeah. So these resources will be used in the meditation. For instance, when you have organs to cure, it will call this resource. If you have atoms to cure, it will call this resource. Okay. If you have emotions to cure, it will call this resource, etc., etc. If you have microorganisms, and so on. So each resource will be relating to its family resource.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
And then you get all the information that you can get everywhere into the PDF report. So this is built on the spot, and you can print it. You can save it as a PDF. So if I want to save it, I can just save it on my screen. I can print it. I'm not sure you see that with the live feed, but okay.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Fine.
Which means that a person could do a remote scan
Yeah.
and actually sends the PDF to the therapist remotely.
If the therapist is not equipped with the software, yes.
Yes.
But it's also complicated to understand all the concepts in the software if you are not keen to it. So I would say the PDF is more for having things into your file.
Okay, very cool.
So you will find a lot of new information for those of you that already use the device. Now in resources, you will find an explanation for every single resource. For instance, what is ST41? This is stream divide, which is called Jeshi, I don't know, in Chinese.
Yeah.
And it
Jeshi,
is,
I think.
yes, I think so. Sorry for Chinese people. And this is commonly used for that and that. Okay, so for all of them, you have some information. And then on the priorities, you also have the emotional links, which is really useful because when you have a problem of the right arteries, okay, but why? Why? Maybe that's because there are some emotional links that are related to this. Mm-hmm. So for 100, more than 1,000 biomarkers, we now have emotional links and explanation, which is really, really useful for everyday operations.
Where did you come up with all of the biomarkers?
It's a lot of different researchers. So there are people that worked into the ECG,
experience.
Yeah, and not from me. There are some that we computed by mixing different knowledges, but most of this knowledge is years and years of research by different people that published researches. And what I did is that I draw links between things that are usually not linked together.
Sure.
Yeah. So that's why we can then get to this.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So we have meridians, TCM points, and so on. So this is all the priorities, and then you have this protocol, and the protocols that is automatically created for every priorities, which is only the organ,
Sure.
and then the one that I added to testosterone, which is these 3 reparation programs,
Sure.
which are curing protocols, in fact. Okay. So on each of them, if I want now from the PDF, if I want to add a protocol on arteries, I just click on the flower, on frequencies, and I will add something about, I don't know, the spinal cord.
Yeah.
Okay. Or I can do it from the frequency screen, which is where I will build my frequency program. So maybe,
Stack.
yes,
Yeah.
maybe on the auditory cortex,
Yeah.
which maybe you can hear now, not sure. Okay, anyway, if I click on the flower, I will get a lot of different programs that are suggested. So now it's up to the therapist to work on it. So,
Okay.
I don't know, auditory cortex, you speak a little bit with the customer and you say, okay, it comes from past lives, maybe. Maybe I will add something about cerebral neurons, why not? And so on. And you see, it's added here.
Yeah.
And this is linked. It means that when I play the program, it will play at once the frequencies for the auditory cortex and the frequencies for past life regression or cerebral neurons, which means it will direct this healing protocol to this organ. And this is really powerful.
Yeah, very
powerful. Yeah. So you can choose to play only the organs, or you can choose to play protocols linked to specific organs.
Sure. And what's the best way to engage with the frequencies? Is it using headphones? Is it using another device?
Yeah, okay, so you can play on Harmonize Now here.
Yeah.
And it will directly play the file through your earphones.
Yeah.
But you can also export it to a device or export the audio file. And when you export the audio file, one way to do it, for instance, is to put the audio file on a small MP3 player, just one track. You put it on cycle, and you just put it in your pocket, and it will emit these frequencies permanently through the headphones that would be in your pocket. It will create a very, very thin electromagnetic field, but permanently. And it's also a very powerful way to do it. And of course, it will be included in the meditations. So when you listen to the meditations, you have the texts related to specific organs, for instance.
Sure.
And you have the frequencies that you chose here that will be played at specific times for specific durations so that it has a maximum effect.
Yeah, very cool. And the actual meditations are being done by Christine, your wife, right?
Yes. So we are currently working on meditation. The goal is to have 2 different voices.
Yes.
One female, which is Christine, and one male, which would be me.
Okay.
For a start, 2 languages, which is English and French, but then we will expand to other languages.
Sure.
And the balance, the text is actually, you can preview the text now here.
Okay.
And if, no, okay, it doesn't work. Let's go it into the report.
And this is built in real time based on what the scan has found to actually go to the root of the problem.
Yes. Mm.
Okay, fantastic.
Okay, so I don't have the meditation text. That's because it's probably a demo, and demos always crash.
Exactly, yeah. Murphy's Law.
Yeah, let's try again. No, okay. Okay, I'll fix it later.
No
so anyway, we generated a lot of different texts for more than 1,400 biomarkers. And it's a different text if it's a resource, if it's a priority, or if it's just a resource that you call again during the meditation because you have a lot of priorities to do and you have to connect back to the resource.
Okay.
And also something interesting is that we, in the mind section, we have personality. So we have 16 different personality types, which are the Jung personality types, or maybe you know it under Myers-Briggs or MBTI. Yeah. So these personality types are computed, and we have 16 different intros in the meditation to speak in a way that relates to this kind of personalities. Gotcha. Which is actually very powerful because for an artist, you will say, okay, picture a room where you can create things and so on. Yeah. But if you say that to someone who is very pragmatic and down to earth, you will say, okay, picture that your body is in full control of you and so on. So this is very different.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, very good.
And the other thing that we use is music. And now in music, you have some interesting things, except that it again crashes. That's very good. Okay, I will load another file. We have a main harmony that we compute in music, and we will use this specific music that we measured in your body to make this chord and to drive you into a deep meditation. And this is also very powerful because we use this chord to help you breathe. Sorry. Into the correct term, which is something like 11 seconds if you want to get into heart coherence. But you're not there at the beginning, so it will adapt according to your current heartbeat. That's why we want to do a recording just before going into the meditation.
Very good.
So it will take your music, it will take your heartbeat, and it will drive you into the preferred heart rate. And by helping you into inspire and expires on your own chord, it's very powerful too.
And then when you have completed the meditation, you can then run another scan to actually see the change.
Yes, it's possible. You can do a before after, and you can do a scan every day and get a real nice curve of evolution.
Which is actually what I'm going to start in about a week from now. I'm going to do a scan every single day and listen to the frequencies and listen to the meditations, just to actually show the progress. That's being made. Okay,
so one new thing also is you already knew the list and items, which is list like that. Okay, but the new thing is frequencies, which you can get here, frequency protocols. And you see there are a lot of different folders and subfolders here. And if I go, for instance, to mind, I will find the frequencies for every biomarker that we have. But I will also find some binaural beats, for instance, that are related to emotions, and I can actually hear them, if you hear them, okay, and add them to the current frequency session, or I can choose to test them, like I test other elements. And when I choose several items like that, and I don't know, do I need the Schumann resonance? Do I need the sun frequency? And so on. It says that I don't need it, minus 15. It says that I might need this one, Schumann resonance. Okay, but let's try these 3 ones. And at that point, I can perform an individual test and get this sensor. We have two sensors, so it connects to mine, but I could connect to yours if needed. Okay. And at that point, it will emit the frequencies.
Yeah, very good.
And see how my body responds to these frequencies. Okay. So maybe you cannot hear the frequencies.
I can hear them here, but
Yeah.
I'm not sure if they're broadcasting over the Zoom call.
Okay. So this should be done with headphones.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
And at that point, it will automatically add
Yeah.
the element to your frequency program if the measurement has decided that you need it.
Okay.
So it can build a frequency protocol. And maybe you can see here, but I know not here because it's on me, but if you are currently working on a client and you are a pro, you will have another button here, which is ask. And this is very powerful because when you click on ask, it will send your selection to the customer, and he will receive on his phone or his computer a notification to say, your pro, your specialist needs you to make a test.
Yeah.
So it will launch the application. You will just have to grab it. It will start recording by emitting locally the frequencies and measuring locally, even if your customer is 5,000 miles away. Okay, it will record locally his reaction to the frequencies, and you, as a pro, you will see in real time how it goes, and it will build your results by getting the results in real time. And that, I think, is really powerful because you can really do telemedicine with any of these list items in real time with this kind of technologies.
No, amazing. Amazing. Can you show us the chakras?
Yeah, sure.
Actually, quite a nice piece. And if you could talk us through that as well, please.
Yeah, okay. So one thing is that I have several parts, so I can compare before and after, for instance, okay, or the whole recording. And then on each chakra, there are several informations, which is the main information of the chakra and the related frequencies and programs, okay. The associated TCM points, the associated glands, the systems and the organs that are known to be linked to this chakra. So typically, we have some guys making research on you can link the chakras to specific frequencies or specific parts of the ECG. Okay. Sure. Then we have other guys that says, okay, this chakra is linked to this particular TCM point. This is completely another field of research. Sure. We have another field of research that said, okay, this chakra is linked to this body gland because it's people that have one root in Eastern medicine and one root in Western medicine, for instance, yep. And one foot. And so they draw parallels like that. Another say, okay, it's linked to the Ayurvedic system, which is this subdoshas group, sure. For instance. And another one said it's linked to this kind of things. So now we have a lot of information that usually don't collide, that are just thrown together for the therapist. And it's very powerful because you have information on chakras and everything that is linked. Okay. And you can also click on 12 if I can. I'm not sure I can. Okay, demo again. So this is the chakras, and it's the same principle for every system. So you have frequencies. For instance, if you go back to the chakras, you can have frequencies and therapy protocol for the chakra, but also for the pineal gland, for instance, which is different frequencies on different frequency protocols. Okay. So if you are willing to work with the energetic field on the aura, so you see the aura that is drawn here, you can actually work directly on glands and organs from here. Okay. And there is also a novelty which is set as home screen, which is here. And you can define that chakras is now your home screen. So when you click on energy, when you go to body, for instance, and you go back on energy, it will directly open the chakras. Okay, you can do the same for mind. For instance, you say that personality is your favorite screen, so you set it as home screen. Yep. So now when I scroll between body, energy, and it doesn't work, of course, and mind, yes, okay, here I have personality. And soon you will be able to make the same for body and you can say, okay, my favorite screen, for instance, is vertebrae because I am a chiropractor and I love to work with that. So you will be able to click on set as home screen, and when you click on body, this will be the first screen that you see.
Okay,
so
very good, yeah. So
there are like
your home screen.
Yeah, there are like 40 or 50 different screens, and people usually love to start with one specific screen. So now you can set it.
Okay. So at this point, does anybody have any questions that they'd like to ask us? If you want to switch on your microphone, you can ask any questions about where we are so far in the presentation. And also, my Zoom has crashed.
Again?
Yeah, it's completely crashed.
It's cool because mine is good.
Yeah, yours is fine, which is the most important thing. It says on, I'm back online. So if nobody has any questions at this point.
Oh, I have a question.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Hi.
Hi, that's Michael from Germany.
Yeah, Michael.
Now, I do a specific setting. Imagine there's a biohacker or a person who really takes care of his own body, and he normally takes around 10 different nutritions a day, but he don't want to do that every day. So is there a possibility with the help of your application to create a list and then do a scan in the morning, and the system will tell me what kind of nutrition I should use and which one I should not use? Or do I have to put to go through the whole 10 different substances?
You can actually do a list with the 15 substances. And if you just say that this particular substance is acting on this or this organ, it will change every time you do a recording. So you have to tell your customer to do a recording. And actually, you can start with a test. Now, you don't have to do a scan and then a test. You can start with a test. You choose the list that you did for him. It does the test, and it will just evaluate the percentage of pertinence, and it will also say which one is actually needed by his body or not today.
Perfect. Great.
Yeah.
I think that's a very important part of, for me, for the system.
Yeah, and
The
that's why when you do a test, sorry, I will share my screen again. Share. Okay. So when you do a test, you can actually edit this test and say that this is only for one customer, client only. Okay? So this would be a test that would be specific for this client because maybe it's the map of his house, or maybe it's a list of supplements that only he has. So you can do this list, and you only will have access to this list.
Perfect. And then my second question is, how far? As I would describe it so far from your presentation, I notice that the system is more or less built for people who want to take care of themselves and for professionals, or is it also made for just normal people who want to check themselves, or for both?
Yeah, that's a very good question, because we have a general public app, which is called 33, but which is just a preview of the future app. So 33 will become soon Biocoherence meditation. And we will maybe do a third app, which would be maybe called Biocoherence Home. And this would be a subset of the app that would only show very basic information for layman people. So for instance, with this app, you could get a notification from your specialist and start directly with the recording. Or you can just launch the app and it would say, okay, your daily meditation is ready. Just do a quick evaluation before we launch it. And you do the evaluation, it tweaks the meditation according to the results, and it just launches the meditation. So it would be a very simple app. And then people always have the possibility to upgrade to the full app if they are very curious and want to know it. But not everybody wants to have this level of information.
Thank you.
Does that make sense for you?
Of course. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Great.
This is going to be a very, very powerful app when it gets released to the public. You know.
And in fact, into the 33 app, the initial plan was to have a series of meditations, which would be thematic, like a book. Yep. Okay, but it will now be mixed with. It's amazing, but in one language for one speaker, I think we have, what did I say? 150 hours of meditation.
Yeah.
This is completely crazy. So we will soon have hundred of hours of meditations that will be tailored to every different biomarkers.
Yeah.
And that will be integrated into this app too. So, for instance, one very simple way for the common people app is that they have access, of course, to the Pro directory.
Yep.
So they could just download the app, open a recording from their Apple Watch, and at this point, get tailored meditations or some general frequencies, but not the protocols, only the organs. And they could access the Pro directory, so the specialist directory, and get in touch with someone and pay, I don't know, maybe 15 euros to get a custom protocol and a custom analysis, or pay, I don't know, 50 euros to get a half an hour session live with the guy. And you can find a specialist from anywhere in the world. And if you have this device, you can do it live. If you don't have this device, you can do it with recordings, for instance, with an Apple Watch. But that could be enough to get a daily evaluation. So Apple Watches are millions and millions and millions of potential customers.
Yeah.
So it's really a huge user base for the therapists that will use this device. So I think it's also a very good selling point for distributors or for therapists, because it opens a lot of customers.
So let's just take an example of a kinesiologist. Why would they use this device in their day-to-day practice? How would it benefit them? Would they be afraid of using technology into their practice, and also how can we allay their concerns to actually show that this is going to help them in their job?
Okay, so most manual therapists don't like technology, and I don't blame them, because most technology is very complicated to use and so on. So one very complicated thing that we try and do with this app is to make it simple. And trust me, it's not simple.
Yeah, it's not simple behind the scenes, but it's very, very simple on the front end.
Yeah.
Simple scan.
Yeah, exactly. So we want to have an app as simple as possible. And if you are a kinesiologist and you do tests in person with someone, with this app you can do tests with customers in the whole world.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so you can do a list, you can ask the customer, so for live test right now you need this device, but I hope maybe someday we can use third-party devices like an Apple Watch or a Samsung, or I don't know which one.
Samsung Ring as well. There's now
maybe I have to check if it's possible. If it's possible, we will do it, because I'm the kind of guy that want to do everything that is possible. Yeah. So so if we can access it, yes, sure. So this particular kinesiologist would be very keen in, I don't know, this kind of herbs, or this kind of practices, or this kind of therapeutic protocols, or this kind of prayers. I don't know, he could be a religious guy.
Exactly.
Okay? Yeah. So you would make a list of different prayers. So you would have the Hail Marys, Our Father, and so on maybe Christian prayers, Muslim prayers. I don't know. You can be very open.
Sure.
So you can have a kind of list like that, and usually when you're a kinesiologist, you would do a resistance test, for instance. So you would give an information and do a resistance test, and this is exactly the same that we do here, but it can be
done from
miles
the
away.
Side of the world.
Yeah, other side of the world. So this is a very clear advantage, and so you can just go on the beach and open your morning demands and see the scans from people, make lists, send them, and the following day you just see the list and you do a specific protocol and you write some recommendations, because when you are on the priorities, remets l'écran. When you go on priorities, you can add a comment here. Yeah. So you can, my recommendations, you can just add your recommendations here.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And you will find it on the report. So you would just do this report, and you can also add comments on every section. So for instance, if you don't want to show this section into the report, you just hide it.
Okay.
If you don't want to show the meridians, you just hide it. But if on frequencies you have specific comments, you will just...
The screen share is not working any longer.
Sorry, I didn't activate it. Thanks for telling me. Okay, so we are back. So I'm back to the priorities. I can add a comment here. So my recommendations are this and that. Okay. So this is something that I will find on the PDF report here.
Okay.
But on every section, you can also add comments. So for instance, I've hidden some sections here, so I don't want the TCM receipts to appear on the PDF report, so I will just hide it. But I want a comment on the priorities. My comments on these priorities are these, sorry. Okay. And then if I go back on the PDF report, it will also appear here. But as you see, it's like a chat. It means that the end user can also comment this section, and you can start a discussion on each and every point here. You can start a discussion and you can ask specific questions. So it can be also a back and forth discussion. So that's also very powerful because at the end, it's a bit like a social network between the therapist and the end user when you can exchange some information and completely secure, of course. This is our own cloud. We don't put anything on Amazon or things like that. Okay. This is our own cloud and we do our own secure servers. So,
cool. My computer's dying here. I actually think it might be because of the heat.
Yes.
It's very, very hot.
We have some sun now, so...
Right now, very, very hot.
So, ça va l'image, on est pas tout blanc.
At this point, is there any more questions? Anybody at all?
Sorry for the French. Désolé pour les Français, mais on fait tout en anglais. On en fera une prochaine en français, c'est promis.
I have a question.
Yes, Tim.
I have a spooky system. Would the frequencies be able to be extracted in a numerical value and then inputted into my generators and then pushed through like a remote?
What I hope is that with the frequencies and the button here device, I could directly send it to a spooky.
That'd be awesome.
That'd be awesome. I agree. But I have to be in contact with the spooky guys to see if they are open to share their protocols, their USB protocols. Because if I have the USB protocol for this device, I can just send it. So my idea is that under this device button, I will try and add as many devices that are open to collaboration as possible.
Thank you.
That would be great. Because when you do that, you can export the frequencies to your spooky, and you can launch the meditation, and you can do the meditation with the audio guidance and frequencies while you have the electrical frequencies that are sent to you. Yeah. And if we cannot do it with the spooky because they are not open to it, we will do our own device. So yes, we will have you covered for that.
Very good.
There is a way that you can do it currently through the Spooky Scalar 2 system with your system in an MP3 player through the Spooky Harmony if they won't collaborate with you.
Okay. I hope they will collaborate because they seem to be open, but I don't have I don't have time to contact them yet, but I will do. But in this case, you can just export the audio here and feed it into any system. In fact, I guess you can export the audio and put it on an MP3 player and use the headphones output to directly deliver some microcurrents. This is something that it's probably possible to do. There are some transducers that you can use in place of the headphones that could deliver electricity to your body. So this is one of the leads that I have to create our own device. It would be just to use this kind of technology because it would be much easier to do. Okay.
So
did you have something else to speak, like 10,000 things?
Well,
that's why we want to do. That's why we want to do it every 2 weeks.
So we are going to be launching a school next month to actually take a piece of the technology each week or every 2 weeks and actually delve into it in a huge amount more detail. To actually bring in a kinesiologist, bring in an osteopath, and actually take them through how they can actually use this technology in their day-to-day practice. So we are going to be going live with that in about 2 or 3 weeks from now.
Yeah, we plan to start in September. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so maybe
the idea would be to make one school session every week. Maybe not at the beginning, but maybe in different languages. Yes, so exactly. At the beginning we will do English one every other week, odd week. And probably French the other time, and maybe we can switch to other languages like maybe I don't know, Korean. If we have
just
people,
for you, Luke.
Yeah, if we have people able to to drive it and maybe invite some therapists that already use the system and want to share how they use it, because it will also be a showcase for therapists that could be available on their therapist directory page. So
Exactly. Okay.
because therapists could also contact them between professionals.
Sure.
So maybe you have a reading and you want to send it to another therapist, and you can just use the therapist directory and ask for help to someone else. Why not?
Yeah, of course. And are there any competing products out there in this space, like that actually does what we do?
That does what we do now, but that does similar things, yes. There are a lot of devices. Each of these devices have different ways of assessing the state of the person and delivering things to balance. So there are things that are a bit similar in frequencies, like, as you said, the Spooky or other devices that could work in a similar way. There are no devices, to my knowledge, that creates custom meditations. So this is really the core of what I wanted to do. And again, to my knowledge, nobody does this. So I think this will be also a big selling point, but everybody is not really open to doing meditations. So maybe you don't call it meditation, you call it just focus sessions or just refreshing sessions, or I don't know what.
Praying.
Yeah, not praying.
Praying sessions.
Because although the goal is that these meditations are not, focused on spirituality or things like that. It's really focused on healing your body. And I think everybody on Earth, 100% of the people on Earth, could relate to say, okay, just take 1 hour for you, and we will guide you through knowing a little bit better your own body and taking action into sending energy inside. And they will say, oh, it's a bit quirky, but okay, let's try it. And, and it will be incredibly powerful.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
and even from the testing that's been done now, we're seeing very, very accurate test results.
Yeah, and that's because most of the devices on the market are in fact random number generators, which is not completely bad thing per se, because it has been proven that the mind could interfere with random number generators, but you cannot enter the real medical field with a random number generator, because you cannot explain to a medical doctor that if you do a scan and you do another scan a few minutes after that of the same person, you have completely different results. It's complicated. Whereas with our device, we have very, very consistent results because it's entirely computed from the recording, and the recording is quite consistent with the same person. So of course, there are things that will move between the start and the end of the session, because the professional will have done something or the meditation will have done something, but it will be very consistent. And you can actually do the test and do several recordings with the same person, or do several recordings with different customer accounts, and see if it's consistent with us and if it's consistent with other devices. And this will give you a big clue, whereas these other devices have actually reliable assessments.
And we are going to be out of beta test in the next 3 weeks or so, and the product will be officially live. So just remember, you have a 50% rebate until September 1st during the beta. So if you want to start something now, then it could be the time. So and then the price will increase twofold, but there will also be place for distributors all around the world. So we are actually getting very good interest from several countries, but that's more your point. From around the world, we are now in the process of agreeing terms with distributors from around the world. So if you are a potential distributor, now is the time to contact us, because we are, as I say, about to come out of the beta test launch, and if you would like to be part of this, you can just basically give me a shout or contact Mederic directly.
No, it's you. Contact him.
And I'll be happy to essentially send you on our terms and conditions. But this looks as though it's going to take off like a rocket. So contact me if you'd like to be part of this adventure. And I think that's it, is it?
Yeah.
Unless you have any more questions, guys.
Do anybody have a question? We are spot on time, 1 hour.
Exactly.
Incredible.
1 hour. Boom. Well, thank you very, very much for that very simple overview.
Does anybody have a question? Okay.
I have one more.
Yeah, please.
It's Michael again from Germany.
Yeah.
Now, the pedal system, I noticed there's, if all pedals are shown, that means this is the optimal range.
Yes.
But I like to have an example of the lowest range, which is, I think, light green, and the highest range, which is dark red. So can you maybe give us an example, for example, about an organ who has one of those two stages, so we get a little bit more information about what the result of this scan would be.
I'll try and find one. So you have the explanation here. If you click on so on all pages you have a little question mark, and this will always open some information. So the colors are here, and it's computed by the energy is on the left. So this is low energy, medium energy, high energy, and this is low agitation, medium agitation, and high agitation. And a static is quite rare. That's what you want, static?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is usually not found. If it is found, it's not a very good sign. So let's try and find one. Okay, so one thing, if you go to organs and you go to parts here, sorry, let's open the parts, and it won't open. Why? Okay, I have a bug, it won't open the parts. Okay, so this is something to fix. Energy. High energy. Oh, this is strain, for instance. Strain is much more common. Whole body energy. Yeah, strain is much more common. It's not often that you find low energy, low entropy. I'm not allowed to say what it means, but you get it. You can actually add some lines if it wants to. No, again, it doesn't want energy. It will be hard to find something that is more than string. Stabilizing is almost there, but it's not so bad. Okay, I'll try and find an example and speak about it in the next recording.
Okay.
Or maybe by entropy. No, again. Okay, so let's just say that the two most problematic petals are top right and bottom left. Top right is high agitation and high energy, and bottom left is low agitation and low energy, and both are the most problematic. But it's very rare to find them, hopefully. Okay.
Happy, Michael? I presume that's a yes.
Yeah.
Oh, he's lost his mic.
Thank you.
Okay, so as nobody has his mic on, we'll just say thank you.
Thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, and we will start again.
Thank you very much.
We will start again starting September, maybe every Friday at 3 o'clock, like that, because it allows people from California to Seoul to join us. So if it's if it's a good time for you, maybe we can just reserve this spot starting September. So thanks to everybody.
Thanks so much. Have a great weekend.
Yeah.
Thanks for your time. Thank you very much.
Recording stopped.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, bye guys.